Well, hello everybody. I did a tweet earlier on today. I mean, a video stream earlier on today. Shout out to each and every one of you. This is just a continuation of that stream. As you can see from the title, we're talking about runtime for the Snyder Cut, and we actually have verification of how long that cut would have actually been. This here is me pulling off a screenshot of two interactions that happened. You guys can verify it on Twitter. So on Twitter, first of all, you had a verification where John Berg, and this is the official John Berg account. I'll actually show you the actual account in a minute. But John Berg said to Zack Snyder, disappointed the Justice League movie is only 170 minutes. 170 minutes is 2 hours and 50 minutes long. Also curious, as the movie isn't finished yet, but IMDb knows exact running time. And Zack Snyder says to John Berg, forgot to tell you, I screened the first cut of Jail for IMDb. Thought it was standard WB procedure. No, which is very interesting that somehow IMDb got to see that movie. I didn't know IMDb was that, they could do that, but apparently they do something like that. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if he was joking or what. But then the other thing is on Twitter, on Vero, Imperious Lex posted a photo. Justice League is 170 minutes, he asks, and he has perfection there. And Zack Snyder likes that tweet. So I don't know what date that was on Vero. You guys may be able to verify that for those of you who use Vero. As soon as I get my cell phone, I'll be able to go up on Vero and actually participate in the discussions and find out what's up with that. But this is just a collection. I just kind of stapled these two things together. Let me show you what the actual stuff looks like, okay? So let me get out of this. Actually, I'm going to go to the actual stuff now, all right? So here is the actual Twitter. This is actual Twitter, and this is actual John Berg's. As you can see, it's ticked certified. This is actual John Berg's Twitter handle, okay? And see, he actually said that. This is his actual Twitter. I'm actually on John Berg's Twitter right now, okay? There's a 640 likes here. And what's interesting is this was tweeted the 30th of March, 2017. So Zack Snyder was still on the Justice League, he was still on the Justice League roster. And then Zack Snyder responds to him saying, I forgot to tell you I screened the first cut of Jail for IMDb. I thought that was standard WB procedure. No. So as you clearly can see here, that is some pretty interesting information that you can still see on Twitter. John Berg hasn't deleted his tweets. Zack Snyder, that none of that stuff is deleted. It's still there up on Twitter. So that's evidence that if you take it seriously, that's evidence that the Justice League movie was 2 hours and 50 minutes long, close to 3 hours long. Then another thing that was pretty interesting, which I just wanted to share with you guys, was this tweet by Screen Rant. This was on the 24th of November after Justice League came out. And it said Zack Snyder's Justice League was reportedly 3 hours long. So that was an interesting Screen Rant tweet, and I actually added to that by sharing this information. At the time, I couldn't find. I was supplied that information that I just gave you concerning John Berg and Zack Snyder by Royal Wakefield. Shout out to you, Royal Wakefield, if you see this video. And so it was really cool that he had that, and this was on Vero that this happened. Now what Royal Wakefield didn't show me the Vero one. The Vero one came from another guy on Twitter. I forgot what his name is. But this is interesting, very interesting. So I just kind of responded to this as I saw it, and I thought it was very interesting, that you guys should have a look at that. Now, there's some other things I want to show you on Twitter. There's another poll rolling out right now on Twitter by Matthew Driggers, #release the Snyder Cut, and he sent it to a number of people who are prominent people in the pushing for the Snyder Cut. Dave the Film Junkie, or Dave Pina, Fuku Zhang, which is really Fiona Zhang, and then you have also Film Gob and some other people. By the way, shout out to Film Gob for highlighting all that snail mail with the the tweets of different people sending snail mail. What I might do is compile all those pictures of people who sent snail mail when everything is said and done, so we can quantify how many on Twitter. It's going to take a while for me to get them all together, but we'll see. But anyway, we're at 555 votes here. There are 4 more days left. He started this poll on August the 20th, which was 2 days ago. So, guys, you can participate in this poll. If you thought that Batman v Superman was a great movie, please put it in there. If you think it's a masterpiece, tick that. If you liked it, if you disliked it, if you think it was a jar piss, whatever, right? Just go ahead and vote there. All of these things are very important, because what this does, it sets a sort of trail, a foundation for how many people actually liked Zack Snyder's stuff, right, and liked his style. So when you guys, if you put out a poll, say, well, how many people like Man of Steel, how many people hated it, and you stick that poll out there, that's good too. All right, so I thought that would be interesting for you guys to also check out on Twitter. Okay, so this is you guys. Zhang Mai asks me, did you send out your letter yet? Yes, I absolutely did. I sent out my letter. I actually have a video on that, that I sent out my letter. What happened was I sent it out yesterday, which was the day when I was supposed to send it out, but I actually wanted to send it out the day before. I wanted to send it out on the 20th, Zhang Mai. So, yeah, I sent out my letter. Yeah, absolutely. I sent out my letter. It's going to take a little while to get there, though. It takes about 2 weeks, so it's going to be late. But yeah, absolutely sent out my letter. So, yeah, it's gone. It's gone, and it's not coming back anytime soon. And I hope that Warner Brothers gets those letters and my letter. But we wanted to quantify. In fact, let me show you my tweet with that. I actually tweet that out on Twitter, so you guys know I sent my letter out. Let me show you it on Twitter. Okay, so this tweet was courtesy, and I just want to shout him out, courtesy Royal Wakefield. Okay, Royal Wakefield, who I now see on Facebook as well. Now, some of these people I disagree with, and I actually blocked on YouTube. Royal Wakefield was one of them, unfortunately, because we disagreed at the time about the Snyder Cut, and I thought there wasn't a Snyder Cut, and I thought that the Justice League movie and the theatrical cut was the ultimate, the final cut. And a lot of things I had misunderstandings about. And so Royal Wakefield and me, we patched up. Film Gov and me have patched up. I really should also patch up with Dave the Film Junkie as well, because they proved to be correct. I mean, Film Gov, Dave the Film Junkie, they proved to be right. I admit I am wrong. And we as a DC community need to stick together and support things that we love. And so I hope that Film Gov would forgive me for, moving off on a tangent. And I hope everything can be well with us as we all push for the Snyder Cut right now in a united voice. And Film God did a beautiful tribute to that. You guys can go check out his channel. Dave the Film Junkie has always been there supporting the Snyder Cut. He was kind of angry, and rightfully so. At the end of the day, I think we should all be in one mind and one accord if we are DC fans. Of course, I absolutely agree with Dave Ethan. Dave Ethan has always had a positive mindset to things and a positive outlet. I do believe if Justice League had done much better at the box office, we would have had a lot more power and clout, because we said, okay, we're going to let you off the hook there, Warner Bros. With that. But now, you see, we saved you right there. Now we're going to come through, and, it would have worked out a little bit differently. I can understand, though, the outrage, because I myself had an outrage for a couple of days, and I was extremely negative towards Warner Brothers because of that. But, it is what it is. Another person I want to give a big shout out to right now is William, what's his name? Oh man, William Adams. And I do suggest those of you who watch my channel, you should really check out William Adams' channel. His channel on YouTube. You know what? I'm going to get to YouTube so I can show you his channel. Okay. But William Adams' channel. Oh, by the way, there's a poll rolling on my in my group as well. And this is the poll right now. We have 158 votes, 6 days left. 97% of them want the Snyder Cut, 3% want the theatrical cut. And these are all the people that kind of liked it or whatever, commented. We have a bunch of comments as well from different people. So our poll is running strong. We need to run stronger. We need to get a broader perspective. I do not care what the percentages look like. I just want more people to vote. The more DC fans vote, the more it is we push closer and closer to getting the Snyder Cut and a better perspective of what Warner Bros. Is to expect from us and what kind of fan base we have. So the more of us participate, the better. there's, you know, a lot of people talking about likening, you know, the Snyder Cut movement to the Richard Donner Cut movement. It's a little bit different because there are a number of differences, and I'll talk about that right now. But one of the differences is that the Snyder Cut movement, Zack Snyder did 100% of the principal photography. Like, he did it. The entire movie's done already. All right. When it comes to shooting with a camera, he shot everything he needed to shoot. He also arranged everything clearly because it's a 2 hour and 50-minute movie, which means, therefore, that everything he wanted, he already edited. He kind of decided what he was sequencing, what he storyboarded, what he was going to have. So it's not like this movie is like Richard Donner, where Mr. Donner was fired before principal photography could be finished, and another director was brought in and tailored the movie to whatever he wanted to. And then somebody, so many years later, discovered some of his lost footage and edited it. This editor edited together a movie. It's not like that's the Donner Cut is still not Richard Donner's vision for the movie. That's what I'm trying to say. So the reason why we could empathize with the Donner Cut is because Richard Donner did not get to film everything he wanted to film. And on top of that, he's not the guy that put the movie together as an editor. It was another guy who got interested. He was an editor, and he was able to edit the film together. And this happened after Superman Returns bombed at the box office. Then Warner Brothers listened to the fans after so many years and gave them the Donner Cut because they realized they had nothing else for Superman, and they needed to put out something with Superman that could really land. And so the Donner Cut came out. Now, in the case of Justice League, they flopped. They didn't bomb, but they flopped at the box office with Justice League. They made some money off of Justice League. And right now, yes, they're setting up other movies off of what has come off of Justice League and what has come off of the previous movies. The problem with Warner Brothers right now is they're trying to reshape the foundation off of a flop. That doesn't make sense. So if I were them to recheck and to reset, I would try to put it back off the foundation of Zack Snyder, which is a better foundation. The Snyder Cut would be a better foundation than the foundation they had before. Even if the movies, the tone and the tenor of the movies afterwards are different to the tone and tenor of the previous movies, it would make sense to try and get a win. That means to say, what I'm trying to tell Warner Brothers is, if you can win over the fans with the Snyder Cut, that's why it should come out before Aquaman comes out. Let them overlap. It's not a problem. The Snyder Cut's going to be in the home box office. It's not going to affect Aquaman's theatrical performance, but you get back goodwill among all of the DC fans, which is what Toby Emmerich was saying all along. You want to win over all of them before you go and launch another movie. I mean, if you got bad will among some of them, and you got distrust among some of your fans, you're in trouble, because now you're gonna have divisions from the get-go. As soon as Aquaman comes into the cinema, you're gonna have divisiveness because these fans are looking to see what you were going to do. They're gonna have an eagle eye on you. I mean, you get them goodwill where you hit them with the Snyder Cut, and they get, you say those fans who were, longing for that stuff, then they are more forgiving of you of whatever happens with Aquaman. So if Aquaman comes a certain way, they're more forgiving of you. Because you actually did a will of good faith towards them. You get a good faith towards them and said, you know what, okay, here's the Snyder Cut, right? Now, I'm saying this because there's a couple other things I want to say. One of them is there's the Ayer cut that a lot of fans didn't feel too good about. I enjoyed Suicide Squad. Didn't go and watch it many times in the cinema. I didn't go and watch it many times in the cinema. And the thing about it is, whereas Suicide Squad, a lot of people said, it was a better movie, it was much more upbeat, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't the Suicide Squad we were looking for, okay? Everybody knows that now. And David Ayer has confirmed that. Now, whether you have a non-disclosure agreement or not with these companies is irrelevant. My point is this. If these companies do not act in good faith with the fans or with the filmmakers, what is to have these filmmakers or fans act in good faith with these companies? That's my problem. The non-disclosure is supposed to be based on good faith. Yes, you can charge a person or whatever, but let me put it this way. An ND form or a non-disclosure is only as good as the character of the people, because I can tell you right now, as much as you can be Gestapo all you want, and monitor as much as you want, you cannot stop leaks with a non-disclosure. You can't. You can't stop leaks. People can leak things anonymously. Okay. So what I would suggest to Warner Brothers is just release the Snyder Cut. Release it. If it's not finished, fine. Just release what it is. But release it, because there are a couple of things we noticed from this information that came back last year, and I want to point it out right now. One of the first ones of those things is, hold on a second, where am I? Okay, hold on a second. For the Donner Cut, Kaime, that's a good Kang Mai. First of all, I think they did a snail mail campaign, which got the results somewhere around. They did it somewhere around 2006. Yes, somewhere around there. That's why Kang Mai. Who's Kang Mai, by the way? Interesting. Nice to meet you, Kang Mai, by the way. I believe they did it closer to there. That's where Fiona Zhang, she got the idea to do this snail mail campaign for the Snyder Cut, because they got results after their snail mail campaign, organized snail mail campaign to Warner Brothers. So that's how they ended up with it. But also the circumstances where Warner Brothers didn't know what to do, because their supposedly ideal movie, which was done by Bryan Singer, which was Superman Returns, it did not produce the returns at all what they were looking for. So this happened to them quite a number of times. Their ideal movie, Green Lantern, Jeff Johns was behind that. That was his idea, whatever, even though he's not in any of the credits of those movies. Green Lantern was, again, another ideal movie. They thought this was going to be great and everything, and it flopped. It not only flopped, it tanked, right? It bombed. And but there was nobody calling for anything. So that's why. But in this case, there's actually a fan base calling for the Snyder Cut. Now, this is not the first time. I mean, Zack Snyder himself got two cuts. He got a director's cut for Watchmen. He got an ultimate cut for Watchmen. When you look at Batman v Superman, they had arranged the deal before, though, that there would be the ultimate cut for Batman v Superman would come out. So they got the ultimate. He got his ultimate cut there because he had an arrangement with them. When it comes to other movies where they're bombed at the box office and they got cuts, there are a couple of them, right? And if you go up on Twitter, you can see some of the movies that off the top of my head, Ridley Scott's what was the movie Ridley Scott did? I forgot what's the name of it. But one of Ridley Scott's film, I mean, it tanked at the box office, and the fans got the cut that Ridley Scott really wanted to do, his director's cut for that movie. I can't remember what the name of the movie is, but you guys can go ahead and just Google up Ridley Scott, and you'll find all his movies, and then the movie would be there. I can't remember which one it is. It flopped at the box office majorly, and Ridley Scott got a director's cut for it, okay, because the fans asked for it. So at the end of the day, it's very possible for this to happen. Now, besides the snail mail campaign, let me come out of this for a minute. I was trying to show you something. Right. Okay. So here you notice that John Berg, he's disappointed. So it's too short. Like, he wanted it to be longer. John Berg wanted the movie to be longer. It's very interesting. And the other thing is, notice that the movie was screened not only to John Berg saw it, obviously. So John Berg saw the movie that Zack Snyder was doing. That's the first thing. The second thing is, so it was screened to somebody. He noticed that the movie isn't finished. So what John Berg saw obviously was, post-production work wasn't completed on the movie, clearly, right? So he knows, curious as the movie isn't finished yet. But yet IMDb somehow knew, because Zack Snyder screened it to some people in IMDb, which is very interesting. So it's not just Warner Brothers that saw it, but it's people in IMDb, also somebody in IMDb. If Zack Snyder's not joking, he can be joking here. Somebody in IMDb also has seen this movie, and it has been screened to them, so they have seen it. So it's very interesting, because that means it's not just the executives that have seen this movie. Okay, John Byrne is the executive producer. Okay, executives, are executive producers and that kind of thing. So it's not just the executives that saw the screening of this movie, but apparently other people as well. And I remember there was another article talking about Zack Snyder screening the movie to his friends and family as well. So it's very interesting that this movie has been seen by a number of eyes. And those people in the know that this movie, there's a cut of this movie clearly. And that, you know, I would be curious to know how far along the cut of the movie is, you know, because this was in March 30th. Okay, March 30th, John Berg saw this. Okay, and Zack Snyder left in May, the 22nd of May. So we had April and then we had May. And we saw him actually working on some post-production work. I believe it was in February. I think it was something like that. We saw him doing some post work. So it's just very curious. It's very curious, and I'm very curious, and I'm very interested in finding out much more about that. Okay, let me get out of this. All right, so we have some evidence about the runtime of this movie. Okay, I'm bareback right now. I don't want everybody to see me bareback, so what I'm going to do like that first. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So there you go. It's very hot. It's a very hot night. Man, I've been sweating like crazy. So hopefully you guys are cool and everything is going well with you guys. All right. Let me go check out you guys and what you're saying here. Right. So Kang Mai, who's talking about the Donna cut and stuff, which is really cool. There was something else I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it was on Twitter. So let me see if I can find it. So yes, I have a poll on Twitter. You guys can go check out that poll on Twitter. There are, I think the other polls are completed on Twitter. And I told you about another poll that's on Twitter. Let me show you something else here. Let's see if I can find it. So like I said, there was a discussion also on Vero concerning this. Oh, yes. There's some updates in terms of letters. I forgot to talk about that. So in terms of letters in the Snyder Cut movement, I almost forgot. Today was the 22nd, which means on the 22nd of this month, you guys got to get your letters in, right? On the 22nd of this month, where do I have that? I'm supposed to have it somewhere around here. The following people from the following places are supposed to submit their letters. See if I can find it. That's what I want to talk to you guys about. Hold on a second. I'm getting to it. Just have to find it. Oh, here we are. I think this is it. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So the following people in the following areas, you have to submit your letters. So everybody from the United States, everybody from Pakistan, everybody from India, everybody from Hungary, everybody from Hawaii, everybody from Russia, everybody from those territories should have submitted their letters. Also people from Uruguay, Colombia, Caribbean, Mexico, Greece, UK, Sri Lanka, Australia, France, Cameroon, Nigeria, South Africa, New Zealand, Africa, China, Argentina, and Brazil. All of you guys should have submitted your letters because this is like almost the last day. There's 2 more days to submit letters, and that's mainly the people in California on the 24th are supposed to be submitting their letters. So almost everyone should have submitted their letters by now. Today was the deadline date. So almost everyone should have submitted their letters except for the people in California who have up to the 24th of August to submit their letters. Everybody should have submitted their letters by now, which means what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an inventory and actually post up all of the people who submitted their letters and actually showed that they submitted their letters online. Today was a day when a lot of you guys should have submitted your letters. As my dude, Kang Mai, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Kang Mai. You said, did I submit my letter? Now, if you guys haven't submitted your letters, it's still not too late. You may put in your letter a little bit late, but it may come in late, but you can also submit your letters. And let me just show you guys what it would look like. So let me go back to screen share for a second. And so your letter on the outside of your letter, you have to put attention, Mr. Walter Hamada, 4000 Warner Boulevard, Building 168, Burbank, California, 91522, United States of America. On the back of the letter, the envelope of the letter, you need to put your return address. And the contents of the letter, it can be as follows. Dear Mr. Hamada, my name is, I'm a huge DC fan I'm just writing to tell you that I'm excited to watch Zack Snyder's director cut of the DC film. So you can use this template and then build around it. All right. You're excited about DC films. You can talk about how many you love the DC films that you've so far seen. And you can talk now about, you know, what Zack Snyder meant to you, you know, how you want the Zack Snyder's cut of the DC film. And because you want to see it, not only would you buy it, but also people you know would buy it. And you believe that this is something that the public would want. And it would also keep true to what Warner Bros. And DC is. So it's something like that. It's along those lines. My letter was a little bit different. I already read it for you guys to hear, so I'm not going to read it again, and I can't anyway because it's gone. But yes, this is what we're talking about here now. So even if you're late, because basically the deadline to drop in letters, they want to get the letters in around August the 27th to the Warner Brothers lot, right? Now, some of those letters are going to come in much later. Some of them are going to come in September. Some of them are going to come in at varied times because as much as, you know, Fiona and Company Limited have looked at research behind the recommended dates to send, I got to tell you honestly, it's kind of broad, and it doesn't work out exactly like that, right? And my letter is going to come in late. I'm pretty sure about that because it takes about 2 weeks to get there. The post office told me. So I didn't know that before that. Otherwise, I would send it in much earlier. But that having been said, the fact that these letters will be coming into Burbank Studios to Warner Brothers is good. I don't know if Walter Hamada will actually receive these letters, but it's important for you guys. That's why I said most of you guys should have posted up your stuff on Twitter, on post office, on Twitter, have some sort of copy of your letter in some sort of digital format to show that you've sent it, and then post that letter up for everybody to see with the hashtag release the Snyder cut. So that would have been very helpful for you to have done. Nonetheless, I don't know. Can you guys see this? What I'm projecting on the screen right now? Can you even hear me? I don't know if you can hear me or you can see this. That's the thing. Let me see here. Do I have? I think I have screen share. Don't I have screen share? Yeah, I have screen share. Right. So so it's important. Even if you haven't sent it yet, just go ahead and send it. All right. The other two things I always say in every single video is also, if you guys haven't, go to change.org. Just type in Google Snyder Cut change.org. Go up there and sign that petition. That's very important. We have close to 200,000 people who signed that petition, but we need to get past 200,000 now. It's a long time. It's a year or something away from there. Let's get those numbers past the $200,000 mark. So share the petition with other people after you signed it. And it is a thing that it tells you to share or recommend. Sign it. It doesn't cost you a dime or anything to do so. If you don't want the Snyder Cut, of course, don't sign it. But otherwise, sign it, share it on social media everywhere you go. Let's get it past 200,000 people. We really want to get those numbers up some more. I know there's a lot more people who would want the Snyder Cut than is, you know, the petition shows. And that's why I would like to get everybody who wants. In fact, let me say that a lot of people would actually sign that petition. It was because there was this list of stuff that people didn't feel was true at the time because there was rumors and stuff about, you know, Justice League and putting down the Justice League theatrical cut, why some people didn't sign it. I know I personally didn't sign it because of that. Later on, I changed my mind and I absolutely signed the petition. And I suggest that all of you guys can go ahead and sign that petition. That's a very important petition to sign. If you have already signed it, share it with some other people to make sure that as many people as possible sign that petition. Like I said before, we're doing a poll online, my Twitter poll. You guys saw it. So share that poll with as many people as possible. If you are on Twitter, share the poll with other people as well. We have the snail mail campaign. We have a number of polls online, and we also have the petition. And of course, we're going to move to the next level. Well, we'll look to see how we'll coordinate that to get some other things going, but we want to keep polls going online. There were several polls that were online running with mine, but they have all been closed off. And I showed you guys in the last video those polls. So you can check the last video to see what was going on with those polls. All right. So I think I covered just about every single base. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comment section concerning what I just gave you, the information. So there is evidence that actually Snyder's Justice League cut is actually 2 hours and 50 minutes long, which means there's an extra 50 minutes of footage that was cut from the movie. That's pretty much what it's saying. I remember a lot of people saying it was about 3 hours long, and they were absolutely correct. So there you go. That's where that rumor came from. So there's more and more information coming out about the Snyder cut. Hopefully we can see it soon. The difference, like I was saying, between the Richard Donner cut and Snyder cut, there are a number of differences. One is there wasn't social media back then in 2006. And so with social media today, we can put on some much more pressure on Warner Brothers. And one of the ways is by mobilization, getting people to do much more things. People are much more connected. Things are much more instantaneous. People have demands that are more instantaneous than before. And we've seen what social media can do to a film, right? We've seen what happened with Ghostbusters. We see what happened with Justice League, where people on social media sort of tore Justice League to shreds. And because of that, you know, Justice League didn't do so well at the box office. It was a pretty good movie, but it wasn't the movie that was advertised, right? So, you know, social media makes a big difference these days and puts a lot of pressure on companies to really produce. And so hopefully Warner Brothers does not come halfway. We don't want any extended cut. We want the Snyder cut. So Warner Brothers needs to understand, without a doubt, you're not compromising us here. We don't want no extended cut with extended footage, or we don't want just deleted scenes coming at us. No. We want the Snyder cut. I want to see Snyder's vision on the screen, whether it's complete or not in terms of post-production work. I want to see that vision on the screen. That's what I want to see. And I already know it's going to be better than anything that Joss Whedon has done to fill in with reshoots. Okay, so we already know this. So let's just stop the baloney and let's just see it. Right? So there is a functional cut out there, Snyder cut. It's not complete. Everybody knows this. We have never argued that the Snyder cut was complete. What I've said is that it's near to complete. Maybe it needs the music, some parts of the musical score still put to it. There was redubbing and stuff going on, and maybe there would be some polish in terms of reshoots works, which many fans will not even see. They'll excuse it compared to the Justice League movie we saw in the theater, which was not polished, which was not finished, and subpar work. Okay, so you might as well just give us the Snyder cut right now, because we know it's going to be better than what we saw in the theater. We know this. All right. The other thing I wanted to say is that I really am appreciative of all you people who supported the Snyder cut. Kang Mai says, I haven't sent my letter yet, but I think I'm going to write it up and send it in the next hour. I need a stamp, right? You need a stamp. You need to get to the nearest post office. I hope there's still post offices in your place. I had a lot of difficulty finding a post office that was operational. It took me an extra day to find that post office. The stamps, snail mail is cheap. It's really, really cheap. Okay. It'll cost you, depending on what country you're in, it'll cost you almost nothing. Okay. For me, it costs let me convert that into US dollars. It cost me less than $1 US to sell my letter. Less than $1 US. I wrote my letter. I put it inside of an envelope. I had to get a stamp. I think it cost me $4.75, my money, which would be, the exchange rate for my money is close to $7. $1 US is $7, my money. So it's less than $1 it cost me to send my snail mail. So, it was just crazy. You know what I mean? So it's dog cheap to do. And it will take a while to get there, but it's important. Now, here's the thing, though, Kang Mai. When you've written your letter, right, do me a favor. one or two things you can do. Take a picture of your letter. If you got a cell phone, if you got a, for me, I have a laptop. I don't have a cell phone. Otherwise, I'd be on Vero right now. Vero is a very positive place to be. You know, but I don't have a cell phone right now, but I may get one because one might be given to me as the person doesn't need that one. They have a better model, but we have to get a SIM card for her stuff. But anyway, send your letter, take a picture of your letter, then take a picture of your envelope, your letter in an envelope, and send your letter. Don't hesitate. I don't care what part of the world you're in, send that letter. It may take, it may go in late, but it counts. And put your letter up on social media. What we're going to try and do is compile all the letters that people sent that they posted up on social media, particularly Twitter. But if you guys have, you know, posted up on Facebook, I'll also take that. And send your letters in. You see, when you show that, I can actually quantify, we can actually quantify how many people on Twitter, how many people on Facebook, or how many people on wherever have sent in their mails. Film Gob, he did a little video with some of the people. There's a ton of people. And the other thing is, what we can do is by quantifying all those people who sent stuff, we can put it up also on the For Snyder Cut website, which Fiona Zhang has. We can put it up on that website so you can see all the people who sent their letters and all their artwork and everything. And so we have this beautiful ensemble of people who show that they care about this Snyder Cut. So we'll have all that evidence there. And if we can get, you know, the petitions numbers higher, then we have that evidence also on, you know, Fiona Zhang's website. And then if we can get some polls really running and get some more people participating in the poll, we had that also on Fiona Zhang's for the Snyder Cut website. So, you know, all of that stuff being on the for the Snyder Cut website gives much more data. It shows how powerful the fan base is. And then, of course, we had in the Comic-Cons, the For Snyder Cut people who also were actively involved in giving out T-shirts in the Comic-Con. So, you know, all of that also comes to this little movement that we have. And of course, don't forget the For Snyder Cut movement also donated towards people who could be suicidal to prevent people from committing suicide. So the For Snyder Cut movement also raised money for that. So this movement has been doing some very positive things. Out of people wanting to get a movie done, we've done more positive things out of this movement than probably any other movement has ever done for any kind of movie. And so that's what social media can do. We can actually, and that's what Fiona Zhang was saying, we need to be more positive. And when you're doing positive things, you don't have time to be negative, right? So this is what I want you guys to do. Kang Mai, if you can do that, please do. If it's daytime where you're at, you know, I hope you can find the nearest post office. In my country, it's kind of hard to get post offices now because people are not really doing much snail mail anymore. One of my nearer post offices is closed down. It's not open anymore. People are not doing much snail mail. So I had to travel outside of my little area into another town. And when I got there, that post office was closed the day because they closed in the morning because they didn't have air conditioning. So I had to come back the next day early in the morning and post my stuff. And it's really cheap to do postage. So it's really cool. And what the snail mail does, for all you guys who want to know a little bit more about it, is the snail mail shows that you're a real person. So if you're going to write that letter, Kang Mai, do it in your own handwriting, in your cursive handwriting. Don't type it. You know, some people type theirs and then sign at the end. No, do it in your cursive handwriting. And even if you're really terrible at writing in cursive, it doesn't matter. Just write it out in your own handwriting if you can. If you have to type it out and translate it or whatever and then write it out, fine. You know, English may not be your first language. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you guys, man, just letting them know you're real people. If you look at my letter, let me show you what. Okay, I got to put on a shirt. Man, it's so hot here, man. You guys don't even understand how hot it is tonight. It's really, really hot. And we had a couple of other earthquakes yesterday. And we had an aftershock earthquake in the middle of today. I was sleeping. I know, in the middle of the day, I'm sleeping. That's right. I was sleeping in the middle of the day, and this earthquake, 5.9 on the Richter scale, started happening. The whole house was like jello, man. Man, this stuff, I don't know what's going to hit us next. We might get hit with a big one. And Venezuela got the worst of it, but certain businesses in my country had to close down because the buildings kind of shook and stuff started falling down. Roofs started falling in. There was I don't know if it was a Catholic or Anglican church. I think it was a Catholic church where the top of the church, the steeple of the church fell through the roof. The earthquake shook so much it fell through the roof, and some people were eating in a pizza. I think it was Pizza Hut, and the roof of the Pizza Hut fell down on cars and stuff. Yeah. I don't know if anybody died. There were no reports of anyone dying from this earthquake, but man, it was serious yesterday. It was 6.9 on the Richter scale. In Venezuela, it was 7.3. We saw some buildings on the hillsides fall down. It's crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was a serious earthquake, man. It was a serious. You know, you guys may not have had me talking to you guys. You know, electricity went out. Everything went out. There was lights out. You know, my neighbor, who's a policeman, he was next door. He was cutting some coconuts to give people to drink. And man, he said, man, with this earthquake, he was just watching all the phone lines and everything, you know, they're on the poles and everything just swaying rapidly in the wind. I mean, yesterday, I can't even explain to you guys how scary it was. I was just saying, oh Lord, if it's my time, it's my time. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go meet you. You know, because it was that serious. You know, it could and it's expected that the aftershocks, it's expected that we're going to have a bigger one. So I don't know if I'll be around, guys. So treasure the moments when I'm here, because I could be gone. And you know, at least you guys had the moments when I was you know, shooting videos with you guys, because I can't run. You can't run from an earthquake. You know what I'm saying? I tried to explain to people. There's nothing you can do. You can say you're staying under an arch or something, or under a table, but that does not guarantee anything. It doesn't increase your chances of not getting killed. Okay, if it's a serious earthquake, you're not going to survive it. You just have to pray to God that it doesn't, you know, something doesn't fall on you, or you don't fall through the ground, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing you can do. The earth becomes like jello. It's like waves of the sea, and everything's just wobbling. You know, it was crazy. Anyway, man. Oh man, this room is so hot right now. But anyway, let me see if I can get. Well, I'm okay right now. I mean, my mom's okay. I'm okay. You know, I live with my mom right now. She lives with me. You know, we live pretty peacefully, you know, together. So it's really cool. You know, my brother comes. I have a younger brother who comes through and everything. And she had actually gone to the doctor's office because she was going to get a checkup, because she's, you know. So she actually felt it over there. You know, it's almost like an end of the world. And another guy who, Damien Anton Vincent, you know, he lives in my country, and he was in Port of Spain, which is the capital of my country. And he was in one of those big tower buildings, and he said the building was just swaying like crazy. You know, he thought, you know, he was scared, and he was wondering if he should go back to work today. And today it probably swung again. So, you know, okay, yeah, that's not cool. You know, it wasn't as long. I mean, the one that we had was about a minute and 30 seconds. And that thing was intensifying. I can't even explain it to you guys. It's like it starts to wobble. At first it starts to wobble. The earth starts to wobble. And it's all good, you know. And then all of a sudden, that thing just took an intensity. You actually heard it going, and everything was just shaking. I cannot explain to you how intense that was. All I could say was, oh, Lord. Yes, Lord. That's all I was saying through the whole thing, because it was like, man, whatever, man. You know, I was like, Lord, what? If I got to go meet you, you know, all right, then. I'm ready. Because that's it. That's all I was saying. Because I was wondering if it was going to end or if it was going to intensify. And it intensified. And I was like, this is definitely the end. Okay, so this is how it goes down. Okay, cool. You know, and I was just waiting, you know, because, you know, the one thing, and I was watching that Amorosa, she was talking to that pastor dude, the Reverend dude, Al Sharpton. That's what I was watching. And then all of a sudden, man, the earthquake really took a turn for the worse. And the current went, everything went poof. Now I was just staring at the ceiling, watching to see what happened. And there's a crack in the wall in my room. I was watching to see if it would get worse. So I was just watching to see what was happening. And the whole room was like jello. The whole room was just shaking, man. Like it's kind of surreal, because everything's just moving and you're watching everything move. You know, you can't move. I'm not going to get up and try and walk, you know, because the ground's like jello. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. It's like everything's just moving. It's surreal, because unless you've been in an earthquake, I've been in earthquakes. I've been in California. I've been in earthquakes, but nothing quite like this. Like this one was big. This is the biggest earthquake I've been in. And man, it was scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. Well, I was like, I knew this was the end, and it can just suddenly happen. And the thing about it is, a lot of people, they underestimate the power of God, man. For those of you who don't believe in God, it's okay, it's cool. But the foundation of everything is, you know, everything we think about is that the ground stays still under our feet. We don't expect the ground to move. We built buildings on the ground. We built them on the ground because we think the ground is solid, and that's what holds our buildings. What happens when the ground starts to move, folks? What happens when the ground starts to move? There is nothing you can do. All the foundations you have with your buildings and stuff, that's not going to hold them up if the ground is moving. If the ground is moving, it'll take the foundation with your building, and your building will topple down. You see what I'm saying? If the ground starts moving, there's nothing you can do. You can't escape anything. You have to be in the air, flying. There's nothing you can do. You're not going to get away from anything. Staying in an arch or underneath a table is not going to save you, because the table and the arch is built on the principle of staying on a solid ground. When the ground starts moving, the arch starts moving, the table starts moving, everything starts moving. There's nothing you can do. All you can do is pray, you know, and see what's going to happen next. And that's why I tell you guys, don't live a life of fear. Don't hold back. Just do what you have to do, because you don't know when you're going to go. Nobody knows how, when, or where they're going to go. And it's not a problem if you go, because if you've done everything you could in your life while you were alive to really benefit other people and mankind, then if you have to go, it's okay. It's okay. Okay? It's okay. Don't ever worry about how you go or what happens to you. You may get sick terminally. You may be, somebody may kill you. They may shoot you, or you may be tortured. Whatever. However you go is not a problem. That's what I want to just tell you guys, because I'm going to preach a little bit here. It's a preaching time. The disciples, the 12 disciples, one of them betrayed Jesus. He committed suicide. Okay, forget him. But the other guys that replaced him, almost every single one that followed Jesus followed him in a fashion similar to how he died. What I mean by that is almost all of them were tortured. All of them died at the hands of other human beings, savagely. Okay, so what allowed all of them, the last one was imprisoned. He was on an isolated island. His name is John, and he was isolated on an island. Nobody would come to see him. Every now and then somebody comes to see him. All right, dude was in isolation. Okay, it's like solitary confinement. Okay, so think about this. How come these people live these fantastic lives, but yet their ends are tragic? Think about it. Their ends are not nice. The hero doesn't save the day. That's why I love Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. If the story of Superman ended right there, it would have been an awesome story still. Why? Because that's the way how the Christian disciples ended up. They were all killed, or the last one of them, who was John, he was left in isolation, but they damn near tried to kill him. They put him down in a vat of boiling oil and boiled his skin off of him. He had burns all over him. Came back up there burned to crisp. I don't even know if he was blind. Shit, and you live after that? What kind of life would you have? Somebody who's made peace with whatever happens. I'm still going to be what I am. You see? Nobody here knows what the future brings. But the one thing you have perfect control over is yourself. And the one thing you can do is you can have peace of mind, even though, and your peace of mind is not dependent on the situation you're in. You may be in pain, you may be suffering, etc. But if you have peace of mind, you're cool with anything that happens, and you're still going to be you. And that is something nobody can take from you. And that's something I'm trying to explain to you guys. It's not the outcome that's important. It's the development of your character. And that's the thing I love about Justice League. And I love, not Justice League, sorry, about Batman v Superman and about Man of Steel and about the previews to Justice League. I will never forget that trailer where Hope Never Dies. All right. There's something else I want to talk to you guys about. So let me get to it. I said shout out to William Adams, and I said I want you guys to go see William Adams' channel. Let me go. What's it? DC Fan? His channel is DC Fan Gives Hope. Okay. Go to his channel, DC Fan Gives Hope. You can do that right now. That would be awesome. And he has a video titled Zack Snyder Shames Warner Brothers. But here's the more important thing. It's not about him shaming Warner Brothers. It's this. There's a video on there, and the video, sorry, not a video, but he points to a video that you guys need to go check out, which is The Fountainhead. Now, people say it's Aaron Zans or whatever, Aaron Rand's book it's based off of. It doesn't matter. The Fountainhead. Now, unfortunately, the Fountainhead has been misinterpreted, and people take the Fountainhead, for example, Aaron Rand's book, but based on Aaron Rand, and they say it's about, you know, people must have the freedom to express themselves. Nobody must stop them from expressing themselves. And so we have the alt-right right now, you know, talking about, you know, Aaron Rand's book, and Zack Snyder is shaming Barack Obama. Not Zack Snyder. The Fountainhead points out directly to Barack Obama and showing him that, you know, the establishment is not this and blah, blah. Trust me, it doesn't mean that, okay? The Fountainhead is talking about originality and the fact that some people, you have to be bold and brave to be able to express yourself properly without compromise. It's about creativity it speaks from. Now, I don't agree with everything that I've seen in The Fountainhead, but absolutely I want to see Zack Snyder's take on The Fountainhead. It's an old film about this guy who builds a modern building, a very modern avant-garde building in the middle of an established sort of city. It's beautiful to behold, but yet it doesn't encapsulate the old ancient sort of Greek sort of construction and architecture that the city was known for, and that they had come to recognize, and people sort of recognize as beautiful art. This guy was challenging everything, and they said it was too edgy. So the people who he was trying to get for sponsorship to make the building, they were saying, you know, you need to just kind of blend it in, you know, compromise it, sort of like what happened with Justice League, right? So the Fountainhead points out a number of different things, and it's really a fantastic for somebody who's creative and somebody who is done art and does art for art's sake and does science for science sake, and not necessarily for approval from people, but to bring out truths and to speak about truths. And you know, Zack Snyder's films are very opinionated. I think The Fountainhead really does, in many ways, Zack Snyder kind of sees where The Fountainhead is good. The other thing I want to point out is that William Adams' channel, DC Fan Gives Hope, he's always been positive. He's an apologist for DC films, etc. But the thing about William Adams that I really appreciate is, you know, people say they don't like him and whatever. I totally like this dude. I really like him. And the thing about him is he's always been positive. He's like kind of like a Dave Ethan, except Dave Ethan, he likes movies from the MCU, the DCU. He likes comic book movies in general. Also, Leroy Fung loves comic book movies in general. They love that kind of thing. And I like the positivity of this guy. So if you guys can do so, do go check out his channel. Let me go. Is this? Oh, I'm in screen share right now. Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, so do go check out his channel right now. I didn't know I was in screen share. And check out this video here. All right, and let me show you something. So at the end of this video here, this is him talking about it. Yeah, it will go to the Fountainhead right here, touching you with O, and you really should take this in, because this is, you see, it kind of stands out amidst the other buildings. This is really interesting, and I'm telling you guys, man, this is something worth your while to go check out, and even to just kind of look into detail about it. What he's saying is that people with revolutionary ideas and opinions have never been accepted in their time. In fact, most of them have been martyred. They have been butchered. Their careers have been assassinated. And then later on, people came to appreciate what they did, but by then they were long gone. And the whole idea in creativity is to leave something behind that people finally find virtue and they find something good in. And sometimes you have to suffer the consequence of being misunderstood and reviled and ridiculed for it. And I thought that was interesting because that's kind of Zack Snyder's story. Some people appreciate what he does, but it's so far ahead that sometimes people just revile him and call him, negative things, and he's being crucified for it. And it's sad. And I think this is his kind of story in a way, because he's kind of been revolutionary in that respect. I look at Elon Musk, for example. Right now, they're trying to tear at him because he can't get the production of his Tesla 3 Series out in time, right? And I love what Elon Musk is doing. He thinks outside the box. He learns new ways to do things. I mean, this guy was not in car manufacturing, for example, and he's doing a hell of a job in a growth curve, and he's just doing it different. You think of other people who've been acting outside the box, very successful black guy like, who is bipolar, Kanye West, okay, and so many others, okay. And these revolutionary people, whatever you think about them, I think of Nikola Tesla and a number of other people. They've been called crazy. They've been, people always, because they think outside the box and so far ahead of everybody else that they've been reviled. I think of Jesus too, how he just showed a totally different way and they crucified him for it. And so at the end of the day, I think that this is something you guys should check out, The Fountainhead. And I'll give you some background into what Zack Snyder does. Also, if you guys haven't checked out Snow, Steam, and Iron, if you haven't checked out his movie Snow, Steam, and Iron, it's a good time to go check that out as well. All right. But I think The Fountainhead basically encapsulates what happened with Justice League. I think Zack Snyder was trying to produce, again, something that he thought was best, and something that he thought he was very passionate about, didn't want to compromise it. And Warner Bros. Was like, no, man, you need to please the fans. You need to please this. And that's not what art is about. Art is not about pleasing fans. As much as you may be a fan and you want the fans to be happy and accept, you can't do art like that. Art comes from creativity. It comes from a place. You can't compromise the idea that comes out. Now, I don't agree with everything that, every idea that The Fountainhead said. Like, for instance, the mind of an individual, is his individual, his perception of the world, and blah, blah, blah. I don't believe in certain things. I am much more balanced than that, and I'm supposed to be. But at the same time, I don't believe there's your truth and my truth. I don't believe in that either. I believe there's the truth, but I believe there are different perspectives on the truth. I could agree with that. But nonetheless, the point is The Fountainhead is very interesting. It's interesting that a lot of people may have actually misunderstood or maybe not been able to take out the best parts of Ayn Rand's philosophy on life. And Zack Snyder probably doesn't live absolutely according to Ayn Rand's philosophy on life, but I believe he's taken out pieces of it to talk about how it applies to the creative process and how people can be creative. For instance, we have copyrights, we have patents, right? Why do we have copyrights and patents? So if you go with, you owe society something, you serve society, you only serve society, you're serving the society, then they can use that to manipulate you. And that's what companies have done. It was like, you owe us. To get in favor with us, you need to do this and do that because you are really working for us. And that's not the way how it should be. You earned something. By merit, you've been chosen. That's how it should be. And that's what they use to propagate sexism. That's what they have used to propagate favors from people and abuse. People have stolen people's ideas. Now, of course, ideas are not limited to any particular individual or anybody in particular mind. But the point is we have copyright out here because they want to acknowledge the source or the person who had the idea. And if you don't have copyright, people just steal your ideas and they go with it and they say, oh, no, you can't say that's your idea. And Ayn Rand said, in a way shows that if somebody has an idea and it's their idea, you can build on that idea, but you can't take their idea, change their idea, say it's their idea, lie about it, and then, manufacture it into what you think the idea should have been. That's not fair. Now, we all copy off of other people, and we're all inspired by other people, right? But usually when we copy off of other people, it's to produce something totally different. We're building off of them, and it's something separate. It's not like we're saying, oh, this is Zack Snyder's movie, Justice League, but it ain't. It's not his idea. It's not his vision. You put his name on it. It's really your vision, your idea. That's being deceptive. That is deceitful. So if you go and watch The Fountainhead, this guy, he finally gets, he's uncompromising. Nope, the building has to be this way. So they eventually they sponsor him according to his taste. And what happens is he puts up the building. Some people like it, some people don't like it, and they talking and thing, and they didn't care, right? It was visionary. And then the people who sponsored him went behind his back and changed up the building anyway. Now, that sounds familiar? And so what he did was the day when the building was being commissioned, he made sure nobody was in the building. He blew up the building. He got them to demolish the building. And so because of that, the company sued him for that, and they wanted to take him to task. Sound familiar? So I think that this is a good time for Zack Snyder to put out The Fountainhead. If he's going to do a movie like that, he should really put out that movie. I would love to see his take on how he would address the original Fountainhead film. I think, and what's nice about The Fountainhead is The Fountainhead will show that Zack Snyder is not just an action movie guy, that Zack Snyder is more than that. And so I would love him to do The Fountainhead. Should be awesome. And I love how Zack Snyder, so he has this nuance to him. He's like, to me, he's like one of those foreign film directors. Have you guys ever seen foreign films? Really nice foreign films that they have for festivals and stuff. Really awesome. To me, he has that subtlety to him in a kind of foreign film kind of way, the avant-garde kind of way of filmmaking. And that's what I like about him too. So I would like to see his take on The Fountainhead. I'm actually interested in it. I have not ever looked at Aaron Rand. They say Aaron Rand is more of do what you please and uncaring society and do what pleases you and live up, be true to yourself and stuff. But if you go and really study the philosophy, Aaron Rand is saying that when you try to take from other people, when you try to sample other people, when you are being a parasite, you're actually someone who wants to dominate. So for instance, Adolf Hitler, he was a parasite, right? He had no original ideas. There was nothing original about what Adolf Hitler did. He just wanted to dominate the world and conquer it. And he's saying if you're a parasite, you want to dominate and conquer the world and get everybody to not have creativity, to not have art. So that's why all the artists were, in Hitler's realm, the artists were attacked. Hollywood was is being attacked by Donald Trump and all these people because, again, the creative arm of the world, they can see things that other people can't see. You got the intellectual arm of the world, they can see things that other people can't see. So when you look at science and its movement forward, and art and its movement forward, those are two very important things in society. And if you go according to Aaron Rand, an artist doesn't paint something that other people want. That never happens. If you are an artist, you play music for yourself that you like. You play music that you like. You don't play music that you don't like. In other words, if you're a creative person and you're creating a song, you're going to create that song which appeals to you. You're not going to create something that doesn't appeal to you. You know what I'm saying? And so you play it first for yourself. It comes from you and it comes to you first. You see what I'm saying? And so that's where Zack Snyder is coming from. He's not coming from a political perspective of, somebody who is a traditionalist. Hell no. You have to have some sort of tradition to build a foundation on anything. You have to go from the known to the unknown. And so it's not that. It's not anti-tradition. Aaron Rand is not about just being callous and not caring about other people. Contrary to that, you actually care about a lot of other people because you care about other people. It's something you like. Okay, if you listen to many artists today or any other time, the artist will tell you that they play something that they think is good, and then they let other people hear it. And if other people like what they like, then it's awesome. Zack Snyder says, "I do films for me first." Almost any director will tell you that. Patty Jenkins would tell you the same thing. I love Wonder Woman. So obviously I'm doing it out of love for Wonder Woman. I'm not thinking about what the fans think at this point in time because I'm in the creative process. When you're in the creative process of making a story or film, I have a friend called Alan Clements from California. and he would perfect a song, and he would do it until he loves it. If you ever been in a creative process, you do something till you love it. Even if initially you got that wow factor inside of you, wow, that's just awesome, right? For whatever reason, you're doing a song, whatever, and you loved that, you're going to repeat it to perfect it. But who can say that it's perfected? You can only perfect it if you are hearing it over and over and over again. That's how you perfect it. Then you share it with other people, and if they like it, great. Listen, many artists who have performed many music, somebody will say, well, what's your favorite song? And usually that artist will tell you their favorite song that they performed. And when they tell you it, it's not the favorite song that everybody likes. In fact, usually the favorite song that everybody likes is a song that the artists themselves thought, this is not going to do anything. But it vibes with everybody else, but it's not the artist's favorite song. And why I say that is because the creative process, there's no other way. If you think something is good and it sounds, or it not only sounds good, but the message is good, it had to be because you first thought it was good. It's not because somebody else thought it was good. It's because you first thought it was good, and then you try to share it with everybody else. So the creative process starts with, yes, me first. I first enjoy this. And now I'm going to share what I enjoy to other people. And that's what Ayn Rand's basic principle of the fountainhead is about. And if you take that away from someone, you take away their soul and heart. You take away something that somebody loves, their passion, their drive, you can kill that person. And that passion and drive happens because that person literally loves what they're doing. It's not because of other people. It's an internally driven thing. It's something they love. So they can't, you take it away from them, you can kill that person because that's what drives them. See what I'm saying? So that's why I told you, if you have peace of mind, there's no one can take that from you unless you allow them to take it from you. And there's several ways people will try to do that in spirits and stuff. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought this was really meaningful. That DC Fan Gives Hope found. And I would suggest you guys subscribe to his channel. I'll try and get back to some channels you guys should subscribe to. I'll try to resubscribe to Film Gob, especially Film Gob is a pretty cool dude. But at the end of the day, this is what I think is important, and this is what we're really shooting for. And in some ways, creatively, when we talk about creative integrity, this is what we're actually talking about, which is the cornerstone of the Fountainhead movie, which you guys can go and watch. I'm going to go and watch it myself. It's a black and white film. And I thought DC Fan Give Hope gave us that beautiful thing for us to check and assess. And remember, this is not about some sort of totalitarian society, because totalitarian societies tell you what to think, how to move, how to breathe. So anything approaching totalitarianism means it's stripping away the rights of an individual. Okay. And, you know, that's what Kanye West was speaking about the last day, where he was talking about society sometimes tries to rope you in and strangle you as an individual. It's sometimes the battle between the individual and the collective. And I believe there's a balance between the individual and the collective. And the balance must always be something where it is, the individual must never hurt the collective. That is to say, if I'm killing people left, right, and center and committing murder, that's wrong. Right? That's wrong. Okay, not supposed to kill people. However, if I am a visionary and what I am doing is not evil, I'm creating things that maybe are too forward-looking and forward-thinking than the average person can see, then I shouldn't be crucified for that either. If I'm showing people a better way to live, I'm not killing anyone, I'm not hurting anyone, I'm not stealing, I'm not cheating, I'm not lying. Why is it I'm being vilified for it? I'm asking you this question. Why is Zack Snyder being vilified for showing superheroes as being fallible beings, people who have mistakes and errors, but they're trying to live up to ideals? Why is that a problem? And you know what's the funny thing? I see people who are so-called Christians. You know, it's the irony of ironies. I see people who are so-called Christians coming down hard, talking about the movie's too preachy, Batman v Superman's too preachy. I hear Christians saying this, okay? And then I hear them saying, oh, it's not like a real superhero film. It's too dark and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean it's not a real superhero film? This is as real as a superhero film can be. A superhero is not just a person. A superhero is an idea. A superhero is not a human. A superhero is an idea. That's what's so powerful. It's the ideas that are powerful, not the people. You know what's the scariest thing? The scariest thing is an idea that is given breath, an idea that can inspire people to come out of their comfort zones and be something more, and get them to move and act and flex their muscles and really see what they're capable of. That is an idea that's dangerous, because it shoots against a certain status quo that keeps people in oppression and makes them feel that they're powerless. It's ideas that make Martin Luther was dangerous. Why? Whichever Martin Luther you want to pick. You can pick the Martin Luther who was the priest, or you can pick Martin Luther King Jr., who was the guy that walked in civil disobedience. You can pick whoever you want. But both guys were about empowerment, and they pushed against the status quo that was oppressing them. And they said, nope, this idea is greater than that. And that's what made them dangerous. It was an idea. Both of them never picked up arms. They never used guns. They never flexed physical muscle. In fact, they were outclassed. They would do these marches. Martin Luther King Jr., they would do marches through the street, demonstrations without arms. And police would come with their guns, their dogs, their batons. They would come tear gas. They would come with rubber bullets. And the people wouldn't flinch. They would put them in prison like the disciples. They would put them in prison, and they would come back out of prison, and they would go right back to marching. I'm saying to you, an idea is dangerous. Let me preach today, because I'm preaching. You guys know that. An idea is dangerous. You know what? You want to know what makes the ideals they hold so dear? That's what makes them dangerous. You want to talk about superheroes? Let's talk superheroes. It's the idea, the possibility that you could be better, that you could do more, that you have a say, that you really have an impact that can create a great change in the future. That is dangerous. Let's talk about ideas. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know you guys may be talking in the comment section right now or not. I don't know what you guys are doing right now. Let me come out of this. Yeah, so I wanted to show you guys my letter. Man, it's hot today. It is hot. Woo, it's hot. Tonight is a hot night, folks. It is a HOT night. My. Let me just show you guys the letter I did. And some of you already saw this letter, but I just want to show you guys again. All right. Jabril Ramsey said, I mailed my letter today as well. Let's make some noise. DC Snyder fans, let's be thunderous. Let's make a difference. Yes, sir. See, it's the idea that we're doing here. The Release the Snyder Cut represents something big. And, you know, I just want to say, the people who are doing rehire James Gunn, well, it's a little bit tougher for them. But, you know, if they put the pressure on Disney, if they really put the pressure on Disney, Disney may have to rehire James Gunn. It depends on how they carry out their business, right? But it's a little bit harder to do the Release the Snyder Cut movement. But what I was trying to explain to the rehire James Gunn people was that you have to point out through facts that Disney, the reason for them firing James Gunn is not because of those tweets 9 years ago. They were reaching for something. So you guys have to go dig in and get some evidence to show that it's something else that was going on why they fired James Gunn. That's what they have to do. So with the rehire James Gunn, which is kind of tough, because if Disney don't want to rehire James Gunn, they just not going to rehire James Gunn. It's just what it is, right? You can't make them rehire James Gunn. Well, maybe you could. By it depends on how you do it, right? How you approach the situation. But you have to find truth. You see, the difference between Release the Snyder Cut is there's evidence of a Snyder Cut. And we as fans were able to unearth that. And we were able to show Warner Brothers that. You know, and there's evidence of it all along, like in plain sight from the trailers and onwards, right? So with Release the Snyder Cut movie, we actually have some facts and we have some evidence that points to there being a Snyder Cut. Now, with rehire James Gunn, it's going to be very hard for them, that movement, because while I do agree that I think Disney did wrong to James Gunn by firing him for something he tweeted 9 years ago, which he's completely disassociated himself with and said that was wrong. I'm not even trying to apologize for that. I moved on from there, and I'm trying to change this in video. And I still think it's fickle what they did. They still have some grounds if that's their basis. I mean, it's a reach, but it's still grounds, right? All right, let me show you guys something here that I was supposed to show you, because I told you guys I was going to show you that. So let me show you. Hold on a second. There you go. This is the one, I think. Okay, yeah. So they'll have a harder time trying to persuade Disney to rehire, because you're asking Disney to rehire a guy. That's different to asking Warner Brothers to hold on a second here. Okay, all right. Yeah, it's different to asking Warner Brothers to. What was that? Was that a thunderclap? Yeah, that's different to asking Warner Brothers to rehire, Warner Brothers to release the director's cut of a movie, which we know they have. Okay, it's a bit different. Hold on a second. I just wanted to show you guys this because some of you guys may not have seen this. So this is me here. This is what I mailed off. For those of you who wanted to know, this is the this is my letter. In the corner here is hope. And you remember Lois Lane said to Superman, this means something. So this means something here. You got justice up on top of here. And then you got Wonder Woman, which represents love. This is the Hawk here. And it says here, kind of hard to see, but only love can save the world. And then it's not deserved, it's what you believe, and I believe in love. So this is what I kind of did with my letter. So when you're writing your letter, you can do this, put it on the envelope, and don't forget to put your return address on the back. Okay. Don't forget to put your return address on the back. Okay. Let me come out of that. Let me show. I killed some. There you go. So I just wanted to show you guys that, because I don't have the envelope anymore. All right. All right, guys. So that's basically it. Kang Mai. I was just showing this to Kang Mai. Yes. So I wanted to share all of that with you guys. Check out those channels: Film Gov, DC Fan Gives Hope, which is William Adams' channel. Shout out to William Adams. A shout out to Leroy Kong whenever I can see him. I don't know what's going on with Leroy. I hope you're okay, Leroy. I don't know if you in Jamaica, if you were able to feel the aftershock of the earthquake. It was way down here, but I know in Barbados they did. Shout out also to Dave Ethan. Always a shout out to Dave Ethan. T and J Ayala, I haven't seen you in a while. Shout out to you as well, my brother. As well as shout out to William Ruffin. Some of the regulars on my channel. Also, shout out to my boy in England. Shout out to you as well. So, I'm just giving shout outs to different people because, you guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome. I like people who are positive, even in spite of the fact that sometimes things can be pretty negative out here. So shout out to my dude who he wanted to donate to my channel. I told him, Tommy Temper, shout out to you, my brother. Yeah, so for all you people who support DC films and DC in general, shout out to each and every one of you. Let me just show my face here before I get out of here. So this is me. Man, it's hot like fire today. It's a really hot day. I got to shave and everything, but it's a really hot day. I hope all of you guys are doing well out there. Pray for us here. Pray for my family and myself. I pray for you guys as well. Hope everything is well with you guys. wherever you are in the world. It's nice to see people from all over the world. We got people from all over the world that come through here, and that's nice as well. Social media is a really nice thing in that respect. So yeah, I want to just throw out an open request to each and every one of you guys that you can check out my poll, but also we can have a poll again on YouTube at some point in time. I also want to have an open invitation to each and every one of you guys to join in this chat, join in the hangout, come out the shadows, and make your voice known. You know, it'd be nice for that to happen as well. So on that note, I hope you guys have a blessed night. Peace to you guys. I'll check you guys later. Peace.